It's the Oh Yeah Wrestling Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Big week.
Oh, man, the biggest week this week. It's like the Super Bowl.
It is, but I'm way more excited about it.
I mean, isn't that kind of the deal with the WWE wrestlers and everything, too? This is like their Super Bowl.
It is their Super Bowl. You know, they have worked all year, and the storyline after storyline that are building up. And, man, this is it for them. And I think it's going to be huge. We're in New Orleans this weekend for WrestleMania. Not us personally.
Oh, yeah, we are.
We're here,
We
right?
can just tell people
we're there.
Right?
Yeah, we're not in the studio, but we are. But, man, we got NXT TakeOver. We got WrestleMania. Big stuff for this weekend.
And, we're going to get into all that. We've got our top 3 Raw stories, our top 3 SmackDown stories. We've got, rumors, dirt sheets, all that. We actually have lists that one of our listeners.
Yeah.
Remind me, Jordan, right?
Jordan, yeah.
Jordan, yeah. Jordan sent us a list of his top 5 WrestleMania
he did.
Matches, and so you got one. And then I did something a little different. I have a top 5 list of celebrities who have appeared at WrestleMania.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, so I went ahead and did that, and we'll get to that here in just a little bit. But first, I kind of want to talk about something me and you did over the weekend.
What'd we do, man?
Well, I won't tell everything. No, I'm just kidding. We were good. We were good this weekend.
We were.
But, we've been talking about on here how we're not only wanting to just focus on WWE, although that's a big focus of this show. We wanted to talk about, some of the indies and stuff because these guys work their tail off.
Man.
So I want to give them some credit. And we went and saw a show at the Farmers Market here in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
It was called Lucha Americana.
Mm-hmm.
And it was put on, I don't know if everybody involved was with Mid-South Wrestling Alliance, but there were a few that we saw. We saw some guys like Drake Gallows, Gemini, who are going to be on this show coming up April 14th.
Yeah.
And that one's going to be, again, at the Old Farmers Market there in Oklahoma City. So if you haven't been to one of those shows, you really ought to go see one because it was very entertaining and affordable.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. We went, man, we had a great time. We actually took, one of my boys with us, and he had a great time. Man, we were sitting ringside because, man, this is the greatest podcast of all time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're there. We're checking it out. And, man, just the show that they put on wasn't bad. Man, they had some great matches. Some of it, not so great, just to be honest. But the main attractions, the guys that were there, Moth and Big Demon, or Blue Demon, excuse me.
Yeah.
Man, they put on a great show. They were awesome.
So, and those guys are associated.
You got a picture with one of them, too, man.
Yeah, I got one with Marty the Moth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I say, those guys are associated with Lucha Underground, which is on Netflix, and I think you could watch it on the El Rey network, I believe.
Okay,
I could be saying that completely wrong. But it was a great time. There was a guy named Johnny Cove, and I don't know if you remember, but you will remember this. He had the Karate Kid kick.
Yeah, he did.
What's that called? The stork, not the stork. What was that called? I can't even remember now.
I don't even get me to lie to you, man. But I know that it was directly from Karate Kid, and he
awesome.
pulled it off great.
Yeah, it was good. And then there was guys. Jake O'Brien. He was out there, and let's see. I kind of have a list of some of the guys that we saw. Although I would have liked to maybe have got I don't know. Did they have any kind of program out there or anything? Because
I didn't see any.
I kind of had to look all these guys up over the weekend to find out who some of them were. But, I mean, I'm excited to go see some more of their shows because it was just a good time. If you like wrestling, you're going to have a good time out there. Jake O'Brien, he actually sent me one of the shows that's coming up a little later, too, in April. And so we'll talk about that probably on a show once it gets a little bit closer. But
yeah, hopefully, man, we can actually talk to these guys, and maybe we can get a phone interview or bring them in and have an interview with them. Like, we don't think that's impossible here at all because, man, we're just excited about pro wrestling. We're excited about it in our local communities. We hope you guys are too. And but I have to say, Brad, as great as that was, okay, we did have something pretty special, which is the Raw and Smackdown before WrestleMania. And we got some great stuff coming up. And you know what? There's no better way just to kick us off going for the Raw top 3 stories.
It's the top 3 Raw stories.
All right, yeah, so let's kick it off. The top 3 Raw stories from this week. And we'll start with number 3. This one involves Stephanie McMahon and Ronda Rousey.
Oh! Rousey's got Triple H. Now Stephanie from behind puts Rousey through a table.
Yeah. That's what you get when you mess with the authority.
Yeah.
Stephanie was saying she didn't have the mic in her hand because obviously she just put Rousey through a table.
She did choke slam her through a table, which did not look bad at all.
No, it didn't look bad. And, you know, that's kind of a good sign to me going into WrestleMania because I've talked about this whole deal with Ronda Rousey versus Stephanie McMahon didn't really do it for me. I'd have rather seen her go up against like Alexa Bliss or, you know, one of the champions. But I understand. I understand what's going on. And it's not terribly boring, but it just wasn't the most interesting storyline I think that they could have created. However, now that we've seen, and, you know, probably a lot of people were thinking like me, Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not a wrestler, but she does have the chops. She trains with Triple H. I'm sure that helps.
Yeah.
And she's been around the business her whole life. So, you know, she probably knows a thing or two and showed it on Monday night.
You know, at the end of the day, she gets it, right? Mm-hmm. It's in her bloodline. It's who she is. And it's almost like, so you have, you know, they're saying the baddest woman on the planet, Ronda Rousey, right? Mm-hmm. But she's green. And so they have this whole interview kind of thing, which is kind of cool, man, the way they set it up. It's kind of like a UFC fight, how they, you know, they have the standoff. And Steph is, you know, she's, you know, they're asking questions and she kind of interrupts it and she's, you know, making the flow her own.
Yeah.
And, you know, she goes right into Ronda and says, look, Ronda's a little rough around the edges, that we need to polish her up. And, man, you know, these scenarios where it's like an interview style kind of thing where one guy's on, you know, one group's on one side and the other's on, it never ends well. It's not going to end clean. It's not going to end with the, you know, like the pictures they said they were going to do for WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
And it ended with Steph, you know, putting her right through a table.
Yeah, and so that added a little bit of, you know, a little more anticipation for this upcoming match. Who do you think's going to win?
Well, I will say this. My wife did look at me as soon as that happened, and she said, is it bad that I want Steph and Triple H to win this match? But, you know, I think we're going to see Ronda and Kurt go over. I really do. I don't see any reason why not. It seems like it would hurt Rousey way too much to not win this match. And to not only that, she's going to make Steph tap out. I really do. Maybe Triple H. I doubt it, but I bet it's Steph. I bet Steph's taps out in this match.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think it's important for Ronda to win this match here at WrestleMania too.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so let's go to number 2, and this one is Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar Part 3, basically.
Here we go! A Superman punch! A Superman punch! And another one to Lesnar, and the champ's down, and Reigns with the third, and Roman Reigns is taking it to the base.
Look at his eyes! Almost possessed!
Lesnar can hardly stand, and Reigns hit him again, and Lesnar's still down!
Superman punch.
And now is it Reigns' turn to victimize the beast!
So, this time, we got to see Roman Reigns get a few licks in. Last couple weeks, you know, he pretty much got owned.
Yeah, well, he's
By
been
Lesnar.
owned this whole time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, you've been handcuffed. You know, he's just suplex city after suplex city. And, you know, throughout the whole show, though, we have a couple different things. You know, Roman's giving him a little bit of business, but what happened by the end of the show? What did Brock do, though? F5.
Yeah.
You know, it's there. So where is this going to end? But I have to say that the momentum going into this match is huge, man. This is, they went from, you know, it seemed like, man, AJ and Shinsuke, And that's the main event. Like, nobody else is really talking about anything else. But I have to say that Brock and Roman up their game and their storytelling and how this is going to be, and just the intensity level. Man, they've put it up there to say, nope, we're going to be the main event, and we're going to see, who steals the show between those two main events.
We've got some stuff to talk about probably, I guess, later when we break down WrestleMania and some of the rumors.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that. But that one's going to play big in WrestleMania.
Oh, man, it's going to be a great match. I'm looking forward to it.
I kind of said that I thought that this was a take-it-easy kind of week, except for our number one Raw moment.
Stomach drop! Good night! Is it enough? Rollins, cover! If Rollins does that Sunday, we're crowning a new champion!
Here is your winner, Seth Rollins!
What a match! Is it WrestleMania time or what?
I mean, he captured it perfectly right there. What a match. That was a great match.
So you get this. I mean, so like you said, Raw wasn't the greatest Raw ever, but you had one of maybe the greatest matches in Raw. I mean, holy cow. Seth and Finn put on a show for that crowd, man. He really did. And the fact that, you were false finish after false finish, and then, then it was kind of strange because you have this incredible match going on, and I have to say this. And I'm really excited for Miz and Maurice. They had a beautiful baby.
Right.
But the fact that he's talking about, I'm swaddling the baby, I'm changing diapers, I'm doing all this. It was, that was the overview for this great match going on. It was a little bit confusing to me as far as, like, why is he saying all this? But at the same time, they put on a great match, and, man, the finish to it was great. And I got to say that I'm excited about this Intercontinental Championship match. 4 weeks ago, Brad, I was kind of looking at this match going, well, how's this going to play out? What's really going to happen? But they're building, just like we talked about a second ago, they're building a great story. And I think, man, this is going to be a match that, they say it all the time in WrestleMania season, who's going to steal the show? It's a great possibility that these guys do that.
Yeah, absolutely. You did mention that Miz, he was talking about how he's a changed man now.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you don't see that as being anything that for real. I mean, do you see that as them going to change him to more of a baby face? Because he's a heel, I think, but he's a great heel. I don't want him to be anything else.
No, I think that's what you want from Miz. I agree with you 1,000%. But he does play that role of, if he's gonna, I'm a good guy now. Look, fatherhood has changed me. Well, we'll see about that.
And see, what I kept expecting was that he was going to run down there and interfere.
I did too.
And it was just going to be a ruse of fatherhood has changed me, just like the previous week's ruse of the Miz, Taraj, and me aren't getting along, yada, yada, yada. So, but that one's going to be a great match. I'm excited about that one too. And so the Rollins Stomp.
Man,
you said it used to be called something else.
It was called the Curb Stomp.
Which is bad.
Well, and that's when Rollins was champ. And, I don't know how bad it is. It is what it is.
Well,
I mean, it does. But
if you were to actually curb stomp somebody, that would be terrible.
It would be really
That's
terrible.
What I mean.
But we are talking about sports entertainment, professional wrestling.
And I'm thinking about American History X.
Oh, man.
That was the word. I didn't even know what a curb stomp was until I saw that movie, and that was...
I cringed. I think I had nightmares about it for weeks.
Yeah. So beyond that, Seth Rollins, though.
And he got a clean finish in the match.
Yeah.
That's what was cool. It's like, these are going at it. They're going at it. Miz, he's talking a whole bunch of noise, but he never interfered in the match.
Nope.
Seth gets a clean pin, 1, 2, 3, that's it. And then at the end of the match, you get Miz holding up the belt saying, this is me. I'm the Intercontinental Champion. I'm the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. And, man, Seth and Finn got a whole lot to say about that come Sunday at WrestleMania.
All right, so we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on honorable mentions tonight because we got so much to talk about. But we do have one that I think is going to play big into WrestleMania, of course, and that's Braun Strowman, who finally announced his partner on Raw.
My brother's Braun. I'm Brains, and I'm about to come down there and knock yours out of your head.
So, Brain Strowman.
Brain.
Yeah, I wonder...
white shirt, glasses.
You know what would be awesome? If the twist was he really is his twin brother.
Oh, man.
Because I think we would all be shocked. But here's the one thing I like about Braun Strowman. Well, I like a lot of things about him, actually.
He's it.
I think he's a superstar. I like how he takes himself not so seriously at times. And he's a guy that they could totally set him up that he's just always mean and, angry and all that, giving everybody those hands. But I feel like with Alexa Bliss and their, Team Little Big.
Yeah, the Mixed Match Challenge, yeah.
That kind of showed me a little bit of a humorous side. I think you saw it a little bit kind of with when he was playing the big bass.
Yeah.
And
with Elias, angle there.
Yeah, and then Brains Strowman, which, of course, I'm going to be mad as hell if that's his tag team partner because I have my suspicions as what's going to happen. But it's hilarious. I thought that was hilarious. What about you?
Man, it was great. I mean, you get to see the monster among men have a personality, and that's what we're seeing, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We talked about it before, you and I, just off the podcast, just saying, you have to play that line a little bit of like, yes, he has a little bit of personality, but never forget that this is the monster among men.
Yeah.
And he will throw you around.
Oh, yeah, he's scary as hell. Like, if I met him in a dark alley, I'm running.
Yeah, I don't run very fast, but I'm going to run fast that night.
Yeah, I'm going to run as fast as you've ever seen.
I know you only said one, but I have to say it. Can I say it?
Sure.
Where's Taker?
Okay, we do need to mention that.
Yeah.
We do need to mention that. There was no audio, though, because I'm actually not happy about this whole the way this has gone down because, what is it, 3 weeks or more? I think it was the last 3 at least. John Cena's come out there, called out The Undertaker. Last week, I thought, okay, he's going to show up.
Yeah.
Didn't. This week, I thought, okay, he's going to show up, but they also fooled me last week, so maybe not. And basically, Cena says, you got no balls.
Yeah.
And no Taker.
He just lays it out there for him. And the great, we talked about this before. Brad, he knows how to work a crowd. He knows how to make it happen. And the fact that they're starting to boo Taker is exactly what they wanted him to do. It's how they're leading them. We're going to talk about this a little bit later in the show, but I had to say this an honorable mention because, I mean, how can you not? We're talking about John Cena and The Undertaker.
Yeah.
And Taker, as much as John has been dissing Taker,
Sure.
Taker just kind of dissed John by saying, I ain't going to say nothing to you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Now, we try to keep it family show around here, but I got to ask, is there any chance that the WWE is going to give us blue balls on this deal? Because, and we're going to talk about WrestleMania coming up a little bit, but do you, for right now, do you think there's any chance that we do not see The Undertaker at WrestleMania? Because I'd have to ask, what was all this about then?
Is there going to be a match? Maybe not. Are we going to see something else? I think we see Taker at Mania.
So you think there will be some confrontation? I mean, I even read something where they were saying this could set it up for next WrestleMania. I was like, oh my God,
that's a long way
why?
away, and that there's so much time between that. That seems a little far fetched, but at the same time, we are talking about the WWE. We are talking about some great creative guys. But I think we're going to see Taker at Mania. Maybe not the way we thought we would, but we're going to see him.
We got to have some kind of satisfaction. I mean, Taker's got to do something.
I love it.
All right. What do you say we get into our SmackDown top 3 stories?
Let's do it.
All right.
It's the top 3 SmackDown stories.
Okay, SmackDown. To me, it was more SmackDown than Raw that was a little underwhelming for this week.
It was.
There were some good moments, though.
Yeah. And that's what we talk about, man, the great moments, right? Top 3.
Yeah. So here's your number 3. This was Daniel Bryan and Shane as they finally reunite.
Nashville doesn't want to see us shake hands, do you?
Brothers don't shake hands.
Does Nashville want to see us hug it out?
Hug it
I'm not
out.
much of a hugger,
Hug it
but
out.
I appreciate it.
Hug it out.
There it
Hug
is.
it out. And so basically, they finally do.
They make it happen.
They hug it out. And that leads me to believe that they're going to get into it.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like when they lead you in one direction, a lot of times it's to swerve you in the other direction.
Yeah, we've seen it before. I'll say this. In a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, we had a Chris Jericho and AJ Styles, right when AJ first came into the WWE.
Right, when he was in Raw.
Yeah, and AJ comes out, big pop, and so the next time, on Raw, Jericho and him they have a match, but then they have a tag team, and man, they're they even go so crazy to call him Y2AJ and this whole thing, because you knew it was leading up. They were too good of friends. It was too much, and Jericho ends up turning on AJ, which makes him the heel, and AJ the proper baby face in the moment. And then they have that match at WrestleMania. And so I kind of see that kind of same thing. So because the whole story for the past, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you've seen this tension between Shane and Daniel. And then all of a sudden, because of KO and Sami Zayn, they're now best friends and they've all worked it out. They've hugged it out. And he says, hey, I think this gets us on the same page. So in my brain, the only thing I can say is who's turning heel.
Right. We kind of mentioned that earlier when we were just chatting before the show, and I was saying I would think it'd be interesting to see Daniel Bryan as a heel, because, Daniel Bryan came up during that time when I wasn't watching.
Yeah.
So I've had to go back and rewatch, but I don't feel like there's ever a time where he was a heel.
Well, he was at the very, very beginning.
Like short-haired Daniel Bryan?
Short-haired Daniel Bryan. And instead of the yes chants, it was no, no, no. So he has that ability to be that heel.
Right.
And if you want to talk about a way to flip the script on SmackDown, AJ is the prime babyface. So what if nothing happens in the Shinsuke AJ match, and they're both baby faces at the end of the match, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But then you get this freaking trio of Daniel Bryan flips a script, he flips on Shane, and then KO and Sami Zayn, and now there's the three of them, and they're now the main bad guys, the heels inside SmackDown. I mean, just talking out loud here, man.
Well,
what would that do to SmackDown? That would be huge, right?
Yeah, that would be great. And I could see Daniel Bryan because of all the, we went way back. We've wrestled together, and at the end of the day, he still has that history of anti-authority, even though he's the general manager now. So I could see it. I could see it happening, and
because he had a problem with authority with Shane being his boss, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So that would be a good one, I think, if you see him turn on Shane. Now, obviously, that leads us to the second SmackDown moment where Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, even though they've been fired, they show up and pretty much go off, and they even call out Daniel Bryan's wife a little bit.
That's right, because what is it you said, Brie? What's that inspiration? Fight for your dreams, Daniel, and your dreams will fight for you. Yeah. What great advice!
So inspirational. But the problem is now, Daniel, that it is our dream to fight you. It is our dream to obliterate you.
And that's exactly what we're going to do this Sunday.
Big time
words. That, my friend, will be our WrestleMania moment.
So to me, that reminded me, and I think that's what they're referencing, when Daniel Bryan was telling John Cena, this is nothing, this isn't a big deal for you, but this is my WrestleMania moment. And now they're turning it back on Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, great words there. I don't know did you notice Kevin Owens' shirt? Did you see that? KO Mania 3.
Yeah.
And so it had the KO, had the regular WrestleMania, and they had the regular font for the old school WrestleMania. I just want to say that was a pretty cool shirt.
Right. What did that mean? Just
it's his third WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It's not just WrestleMania, it's KO Mania.
Yeah.
And that's the way he plays himself. Is like he's like, what are you talking about? I am the WWE. I am this. KO is Raw. He did it all, and he's a big time player in this. And what do we see in this match, Brad? I mean, you got Daniel Bryan, who we're going to see him really wrestle. We've seen him, a little scuffle between them, and then you got Shane, who always has those big moments. But you got two outstanding performers and superstars in KO and Zayn.
I envision KO and Zayn winning because I don't see them getting fired.
Yeah.
Obviously. And then two, one thing I wonder is Shane, how much is he really going to be able to do? Because he mentioned, he had the staph infection, and I don't know if we knew that last week, but we knew he had the diverticulitis and the hernia, and found out it was an umbilical hernia, which I had one of those and had to have surgery for it. and I mean,
doesn't feel good.
It didn't even heal up for like a whole month.
Yeah.
Like, you know, actually, my old band, Killer Gandhi, we had a song called Umbilical Jerky. And we named it that because we were on a road trip to Tulsa, and this was after the surgery. And I was looking at, I was making the comment that it looked like umbilical jerky where it healed up. And that's disgusting. But that just makes me wonder, like, really, how much is Shane going to be able to do? Because, you know, we're used to seeing Shane pulling off high-flying stunts.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's crazy. He's a madman, and I love that. But I feel like he's going to have to maybe be a little more reserved in this match.
We'll see. I mean,
of course, if it ends up 3-on-1, he's screwed.
It's not going to matter anyway, right?
I mean, and, you know, we know that there's choreography and there's ways of keeping him from getting hurt, kind of. But that seems like a vulnerability.
And I don't think, this is just my personal opinion, are we going to see a WrestleMania where Shane doesn't, like, give us a huge WrestleMania moment?
I think he would hurt himself doing it. You know what I'm saying? I think he would tear it up. He wouldn't, but then later on he'll have to deal with.
I think he'll do
But
it.
I think he's devil.
Tear himself up, Brad. Who cares?
Well,
I want my WrestleMania moment.
Yeah. All right. So that brings us to number 1, which I think is going to be one of the best matches at WrestleMania for our SmackDown moments. This is AJ and Shinsuke.
Oh, Shelton Benjamin.
From behind, an all-out assault on Shinsuke Nakamura. You can see the conundrum on the face of Styles.
Oh, and Nakamura trying to fight off Shelton Benjamin. AJ Styles making his way to the ring.
Yeah, but in no particular hurry. Nakamura dispatches of Shelton.
Oh, wait a minute. Phenomenal forearm.
Now, he stopped right there.
He did.
Because he didn't actually deliver the forearm. Now, we'll set it up a little bit. This was after the match, right? Shelton Benjamin is continuing his assault on Shinsuke, so AJ acts like he's going to get involved. He's slow about it. Shinsuke dispatches of Benjamin.
Yeah.
And then AJ, you know, goes tit for tat basically for last week.
Yeah.
Acts like he's going to deliver the phenomenal forearm. Stops. And then pats Shinsuke on the head. And it's funny because when he stops, Shinsuke's kind of smiling at him. Mm-hmm. When he pats him on the head, Shinsuke gets pissed.
Yeah, it just kind of set the tone for, like,
which is what we wanted to see.
We're going to fight Sunday.
Yeah.
You know.
Which is what we wanted to see.
Yeah, and you know, you see this a lot is the two rivals have to team up in a tag team to face somebody else. So, you know, it was Shinsuke and AJ versus Shelton Benjamin and Gable. And that's a great tag team all on its own. Mm-hmm. And then, but you know, they're there to kind of fill the storyline, and the fact that AJ, I have to say, he did a great job of, like, man, I'm going to pull off this form, and then just backs off, and they both sell it so well. And you know, I was actually watching, and AJ patted him on the head like 7 or 8 times. So it wasn't like a little tap.
Right.
It was 1, 2, you know, he just kept going on, and it just kind of built the animosity that you guys are feeling towards each other. And we talked about it earlier. I'm going to say it again just because it's that time of year. This is going to be the match I believe that steals the show.
Absolutely.
The crowd's going to go absolutely nuts. I think we're going to hear a let's go AJ, let's go Shinsuke kind of thing back and forth. And man, it's going to be a great, and you know, who gets the finish? I mean, we don't know.
Yeah.
So we'll do those predictions later.
I still think that this is going to set up for a rivalry that continues.
Yes.
I don't think this is like, you know, the WrestleMania and then it's over. And I'm excited about that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm really excited. So that's our top 3 Raw and SmackDown stories for the week.
Dirt sheets and rumors.
Now, Will, you're the you kind of peruse the dirt sheets and rumors and stuff.
It's kind of fun, man.
Yeah. I'm sure that we got some that are coming up for WrestleMania, which we're going to break down WrestleMania and get to our lists here in a little bit. But tell us what spoilers and rumors and dirt sheet stuff that you dug up this week.
Well, I mean, you know, the thing that we've talked about over and over and over again is who's going to be Braun's partner, right?
Right.
And so a couple of the stories that come out, sportskita.com is one of the places that I found, and there is a ton of stuff on there. So I would, I'm not sure I believe 100% of this, but it is entertaining to read. If you want to check it out, be sure to do that. And it just goes along with what we're doing. And it's just, man, this is the great time of year to be reading about this kind of stuff and, and kind of forming your own opinion. Hey, this guy says this guy says this, and where do you end up? But one of the things is like, who's going to be Braun Strowman's partner? And, where do we go with this? I mean, I can't see, Brad, that this is going to be a tag team that lasts past WrestleMania. Just like we talked about with AJ and Shinsuke, it's going to be a rivalry that continues. I don't know how much, how long this is going to be last. We kind of tease, maybe a celebrity shows up for him at WrestleMania and kind of cost him. But some of the other rumors that came out was, number one, was Bray Wyatt.
Oh, wow.
The story that's over is over with Matt Hardy. It seems like the Ultimate Deletion is over. He was deleted. So where does Bray fit into the whole picture? And
he's not in the Battle Royal, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so that would make sense.
It could. And, they have that history of being in the Wyatt family. Strowman came up through the Wyatt family. That's what gave him his name. And so do we see that? Do we not see that? I don't know. The other name that kind of came out, and I'll throw at you, is the Big Show.
That would be awesome.
Well, I mean,
I saw like a video of the Big Show the other day too. He's looking pretty svelte.
He is. Well, he's got giant abs. I mean, he really does. The guy is.
Well, I mean, but he looks a lot. He looks leaner than he had in the past. Yeah.
Yeah, he got that way right before he got injured, and he really it wasn't a joke. He had the giant abs. You could see his six pack.
Yeah,
and he's a giant.
Yeah,
and so that was he comes back and from injury, and he shows up for Braun's partner. They have a little bit of history too, so I don't know. These are the rumor mills that are going around, and then not only that, you and I have been talked about celebrity, and then also maybe Kane.
Remind me, was it Braun that put Big Show through the ring?
Through the ring, through the cage.
Yeah.
You name it. I think he did it.
I want to see it again.
Yeah.
I want to see it again. Okay. Any other rumors?
Yeah, absolutely, Brad. I mean, we talked about it a little bit early in the podcast, but, man, where is Taker? And so what is kind of this things kind of swirling there? And, we said, hey, does he show up at WrestleMania? And one of the things that's being talked about is Cena goes out. He says, I guess Taker's not coming. And then another superstar comes out to challenge him, so to speak, says, I want my WrestleMania moment. I'm not on the card. I'm going to come out there. And then the moment that, he shows up, and then we hear the dong.
Yeah.
And then here comes Taker. Now, that's been one thing that's kind of spread around. So, one of the things that could be kind of cool about that is that without Taker, we talked about this before, too, last week on the podcast. We haven't even seen him, and yet we can't quit talking about him.
Oh, yeah.
His presence is there. We're talking about Taker. The crowd actually kind of booed him a little bit. And so does he show up at WrestleMania, confront John Cena, and then we actually get to see him a little bit more past WrestleMania, which I have to say I wouldn't be mad about.
No. But he's got to show us that he's got balls.
Yeah, because John Cena has actually said that he doesn't have any.
Yeah.
And, I guess we'll have to see about that.
Now, any more word about The Rock and possible Elias match or confrontation anyway?
Well, people really believe that Rock's going to show up. He's going to be there at some point in time. I really hope so. I hope we get to see him. He just creates a buzz that is unbelievable, especially when it comes this time of year when that his music hits. It doesn't matter how long you've been a fan. You know exactly who Dwayne Johnson is, The Rock. You know exactly who he is. And if he comes out and whether he faces off with Alliance or he messes with anybody else, we're going to be okay with that. I really think we are.
Okay. Here's something I saw, and I don't know where to give the credit. I think it was CBS Sports possibly. But it was saying that there's some odds that Conor McGregor might show up.
That's been something that has been talked about for a while. So what is a year ago or so? Conor talks all this crazy trash about the WWE and their superstars, and then their superstars go right back at him and say, screw him, basically.
Yeah.
And so was that a work or what was that there? What was that? What is the storyline? And you very well could see Conor McGregor show up. He's a celebrity and mess everything up because you saw earlier in the week, I don't know if you saw it, John Cena did make a comment about Conor McGregor, and they were talking about him, and he says, I'm pretty sure he could beat me up.
Yeah, yeah.
But, John Cena plays that humble kind of character all the time.
And then, okay, you had mentioned this earlier, so I don't know if this is officially on your dirt sheets, but you had told me maybe a scenario where Brock Lesnar loses.
Oh, man. I saw this right on that website that I mentioned earlier this morning. And here's the thing. So it seems to be that Brock Lesnar is leaving the WWE after WrestleMania.
Right.
He's going to be gone, whether he fights in UFC again. He did get popped for something, and he, tested positive for some kind of drug in the UFC that was banned. Or a substance or whatever it was. He was banned. He served that suspension. He's been doing it through the WWE. And so Brock's supposedly leaving. Roman seems to be the guy that's going to win this title. And, we saw throughout the match, at the end of the match, people were actually going, let's go Roman,
right.
Which is something we haven't heard. Normally, they're booing against him. So he wins the title, but how does he win the title? And this is sheer speculation, okay? I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just saying that this is something that was said, okay?
Right.
That he actually teams up with Paul Heyman. Ugh. Oh, man, what would you do? Would that make you just crawl in your skin?
Yeah.
That Paul, distracts Brock, Roman gets the pin, and then Roman becomes a Paul Heyman guy.
Yeah, I would hate that, actually. I mean, I like Paul Heyman. Don't get me wrong.
He's the greatest promo guy ever.
Yeah,
man.
I think he's great, but I don't see that as a good fit. I don't know what would be just yet, but I don't know.
I can't see it happening.
I don't see it happening either, but if it does happen, you heard it right here second.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Anything else on the list?
Man, I think that's going to be it, because I think we're going to break down WrestleMania and our predictions and what we think is going to happen. And man, this is something that we love. Man, we are fans, right?
Yeah.
We come out here, we put out our opinions, and at the end of the day, we're hopefully entertaining you just a little bit. So, man, I encourage you to go find this kind of stuff. Some of the stuff that you'll find about these wrestlers, about steroid allegations and all that kind of stuff, is probably 90% not true, and just take it with a grain of salt and, tongue-in-cheek kind of thing, and have fun with it, Perform, they're going to perform for you guys. Get your own opinion of what you think might happen, because this is what this is all about. Just they're entertaining us.
It is entertainment. I think it's highly entertaining.
Absolutely.
Let's get into it then. WrestleMania 34 this Sunday, as we're recording this right now. It's coming up this Sunday. Let's start with the is it the Fabulous Moolah?
Yes.
The Women's Battle Royal. I don't know. It's hard to pick, but I'm going to go with Sasha Banks. And maybe I should write this down so that we can have it for
Let's do that.
our picks. But I'm going to go with Sasha Banks on that one.
I think we might see something a little bit different, okay? I think we might see Ruby Riott win this.
Ooh, tell me why. But I like that pick.
Just because Ruby Riott's been a contender. She's actually faced Charlotte a little bit, and she didn't put on a bad performance at all for Charlotte. So where do we get that for the Riott Squad? It's, here they are. They're saying, man, we're this bad coalition, and they've actually caused a little bit of havoc and a little bit of trouble inside SmackDown. So maybe in the Women's Battle Royal, here's Ruby Riott. She makes a name for herself, and the Riott Squad is there to cause a little bit more trouble on SmackDown for a while to come.
Is there any NXT members that are going to be in that Women's Battle Royal?
I think Ember Moon's going to be in it. She's going to be, she's the NXT Women's Champion. It's a good possibility that we see her. The person that she's facing, I think we're going to see her possibly. But that's the thing about these battle royals, is that you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Forrest Gump. It's a box of chocolates. We don't know.
The reason I like your Ruby Riott pick is, A, that'll give a little more legitimacy to the Riott Squad and Ruby Riott. And I think she's, as far as what they've been doing with her, she's due for something like that. I
think so, too. I mean, she's put in the work. She really has.
Okay, Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Let's see. I think, really, my pick is going to be, I think it's going to be Baron Corbin. And I'm not a big fan of Baron, but I feel like with them pushing him a little bit and then bringing it back a little in the last few weeks, maybe this is Baron's time in this Battle Royal. What do you think?
Well, he won it last year. So he would be the only two-time, or he won it 2 years ago? Because Mojo Riley won it as well. And, would these guys be a second-time winner? And I don't know. I'm going to throw a name at you that we haven't seen in a while. Samoa Joe.
You know what? That's not a bad idea. I didn't know he was going to be in it, but I've been wondering where Samoa Joe has been.
Yeah, he's been hurt.
Oh,
but,
okay.
Yeah, and he's been out of the picture for a while. But I think that's a name that Samoa Joe is a top talent. And, where does he fit into WrestleMania? I don't know. It just kind of seems, he was a little lost. But I think they want you to feel that way. Where is Samoa Joe? And then all of a sudden, his music hits. He comes down, that towel wrapped around his neck, and he is just a bad, bad man. And there's a good chance that he walks away as the Andre Giant Battle Memorial.
I like that. I hadn't taken into consideration Baron having won it previously, so that kind of makes me question that pick too a little bit now. But I'm going to stand by it. I'm going to stand by it right now and go from there.
Let me throw one more name at you, Brad. If that's okay, man.
Sure.
So what if Big Cass comes back?
Big Cass.
Is he cleared? I don't know.
He's been gone a while, right?
Yeah, he tore up his knee in that whole that last match with Enzo, which was so unfortunate because, man, you knew he was on a big-time singles run. What if he comes back at WrestleMania? So I think it's going to be a name that is a big name, but we haven't seen in a while.
They haven't given us the full announcement of who's in, right? But so there it could be some surprises.
Absolutely. Okay. I think we're going to see it on the women's and the men's. Absolutely.
Okay. So, and I'll put you down, though, for Samoa Joe.
Yeah, put me down for Samoa Joe.
All right. So we have the Cruiserweight Championship. That's the 205 Live guys, Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali. I have to go with Cedric. And don't ask me why. I have nothing to back this up on.
Well,
I just like him. I just like him.
Yeah. I think they're both great, man. And I think that they're trying to put 205 back on the map from, the Enzo destruction that it was. And,
right.
And, we don't have any proof of what really happened when Enzo or didn't happen. We have no idea, man.
Yeah.
But
I'd like to think that he was innocent, but I hate to, because
the fact that he got released and the whole and we still haven't heard anything from him since.
Yeah.
I don't,
Oh, well, I can say this. I think that there was he was in a bad situation at the very least.
Yeah.
To where he shouldn't have been there. But who knows? We weren't there, and so I couldn't say whether he was guilty or not. I'd like to think,
but he's not going to be there.
Yeah,
and that's the end of it.
That's the big news.
That's it. But Mustafa Ali, I think he's going to win the title.
Okay, so you're going Mustafa.
I am.
Now, are you just opposing me, or you really believe that?
Man, I am going to become the host of the show one day. No, I'm not opposing.
No, I just wondered if you were like, hey, maybe I should take the opposite on this.
No,
one,
I just think I think that he's had a little bit more buzz about him, and I just think he gets it, Brad.
Okay. United States Championship. This is a big one. I think this is going to be a great match. We didn't really talk about it, but Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, Jinder Mahal, and Rusev.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to say that I thought we had a bet too, which this is going to go against my bet, but I'm picking Bobby Roode.
Are you?
Yeah. I think he gets the title back.
Okay, so one of the things that we didn't talk about in the rumors and in the dirt sheets is that Rusev was really upset prior to this match, that him getting inside the match, that he was actually going to leave the WWE, the WWE was going to let him go or whatever it was, but because he wanted to be inside WrestleMania, and he actually got his wish. Pure speculation, okay? So with all that said, this is what I think. Randy Orton's not going to hold on to this title.
Okay.
I think that Randy is a main event guy, and this is a big championship, U.S. championship. John Cena made it so relevant with the open challenge. Bobby Roode did a great job with it. I don't think Randy's going to hold on to it, but I think that we are going to see a happy Rusev Day.
Okay, so you're picking Rusev, and which is funny about this because the bet is if Rusev wins, I get a Rusev Day shirt.
Yeah.
And if Bobby Roode wins, you get a Glorious shirt.
Yeah.
But we've kind of picked against our bets.
Man.
But I like Rusev as a pick, though. Because I think I think if it wasn't going to be Rude, it'll be Rusev.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. I'm down with whoever wins that one. Okay, the Raw Tag Team Championship. I'll let you pick first. I've been picking first. I'll let you pick first. See what you would pick without me saying it.
Man, So you got a whole lot of guys that could be the possibility.
Sure.
Okay? I'm going to throw 2 more names out there just because I held back just a little bit, okay? It was Bray Wyatt. It was the Big Show. But another guy that had been talked about for a while is Rey Mysterio. Does he show up?
Yeah, because Rey Mysterio was at the Royal Rumble, and I thought, oh, maybe Rey Mysterio is going to come back. And then didn't see anything after that, because a couple people that showed up during the Royal Rumble, and then we saw a little bit of them afterward, Gold Dust, and
Yeah.
But so Rey Mysterio plus again the Little Big.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll say this is I think the Bar retains the titles. I really do.
You do?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to pick Braun and whoever his partner is.
So you're basically picking Braun, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, I'm picking Braun and Brains over the Bar. But I slightly feel like you're probably right. Although, let me put it like this. I feel like if Braun wins it, he might turn around and lose it the next night or something.
It's going to be short-lived.
Yeah.
I think
because you can't have him as the tag team champions for too long.
No, he's got a big feud coming up, I think, and with Roman Reigns. That's just my personal opinion.
So what we've got then after that, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos versus the New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers. Will?
I'm going to pick that the Usos retain their titles. But, the Bludgeon Brothers, this is why. The Bludgeon Brothers has wreaked havoc on these guys and beat the holy hell out of all of them for the last month, right? And I think this is where you see the Usos have never been on a main event card, in the WrestleMania main event card. They've never been on it. They've been on a pre-show before, but they've never been on the main card of WrestleMania. And I think that we're going to see them have their WrestleMania moment. They're going to retain their titles, and it's going to be a big moment for Jimmy and Jay.
I feel like with the Bludgeon Brothers, with their recent dominance, that probably, that's one of those things where they could be so dominant only to lose at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Bludgeon Brothers are going to win this one. I mean, you talked about, I think that we're both probably in agreement that the New Day would not then.
I don't think so.
Just because, and you've talked about how you think that they may be breaking up, so.
It's something that's being thrown around.
Yeah.
So, and, when the person that's wreaking all the havoc, they're getting all of the pre-show time.
Sure.
And I think that Jimmy and Jay are going to pull it off.
All right. Which, I like the Usos, so that's not a bad deal either. It's funny. I like everybody. There's not a whole lot of people I really don't like, which is good. Raw Women's Championship.
You don't like Aiden English.
I don't like Aiden English. That is right. I don't like him. I just don't like him. I don't like him. Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax. You want to go first? I'm going to go with... My gut is Nia because she's, physically a lot more dominant and superior than Alexa Bliss. But I'm going with Alexa because that's my girl.
Yeah, Alexa's been great. And, she has Mickie James on her side. So it would kind of make you want to believe that. But for me, I think with everything that Nia has gone through, I think there's going to be a perseverance factor in this. And I'm going to pick Nia.
That's a good pick. That is a good pick. I mean, I'm going just solely on my, personal relationship with Alexa. That doesn't exist, but. All right. Oh, this is a good one. Intercontinental Championship, The Miz, Seth Rollins, and Finn Balor. I will say this. I think that the championship's going to change hands.
Okay.
But I'll let you pick first.
Okay, so before I give my prediction, I will say this. We have not seen him. We have not heard from him. But I think that we're going to see the Demon King, Finn Balor, come out, man. In all his glory, he's painted up for WrestleMania.
Okay.
The smoke's going to come out, and that guy is going to be crawling to the ring as the Demon King. And I think we're going to see Finn Balor as the Demon King holding that Intercontinental Championship belt. I really think we're going to see it.
So this will be the first one that I guess we both fully agree. I just don't see how like Finn Balor's push is going to result in anything other than him winning this match.
Yeah, but I don't think the heat with Seth is over. I really don't.
Oh no,
I think this is
like
going
that.
to. Yeah, it's going
like
to continue, and we may see it at the next pay-per-view where it's just Finn versus Seth. That's no offense against The Miz, who is an incredible man. He's one of the greatest of all time, in my opinion. I think the way that he promotes himself and the promos he does, and the angle that he had with his wife,
Miz TV,
is legit. It really is. But I think we're going to see, because Finn got hurt at SummerSlam 2 years ago. This coming up SummerSlam would be 2 years, and he tore up his shoulder. Seth is the one that actually kind of caused that damage, and we haven't seen Finn back in a title kind of reign since that, and I think this is it. I think this is his time where he's going to get his WrestleMania moment, but I think we're going to see it as the Demon King.
I think so. That's a good guess. I didn't take that into consideration, but I like that. But I think he wins. I really do. I think he's he's one of the top rising stars in the WWE.
Yeah.
And I like the way he gets in the ring and just smiles at people. And, if you're his opponent, you probably want to knock that smile off his face. But I like everything about Finn Balor. He seems like a cool dude anyway.
I think so, too.
He may be a dick. I don't know. We've talked a lot about dick and balls this show. That's okay. It's wrestling. Okay, here we go. Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon versus KO and Sami Zayn. We've kind of talked about how we feel this is going to go down, possibly with Daniel Bryan turning on Shane McMahon.
Yeah.
So should I write it both down as Sami Zayn and KO?
Put it down. Yeah, I think we're going to see that.
I really think it's obvious.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe it's too obvious.
Yeah, because okay, here's the thing. If they don't win, they get fired. So
from SmackDown.
That's true. They could go to Raw.
So,
and that could be the, what catapults them back to Raw anyway.
Sure.
So that is true, but I still think it's going to be KO and Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay. Then we have the SmackDown Women's Championship, Charlotte Flair versus Asuka. Now, I do a podcast with Jack Elliott and Ron Williams, Jack and Ron.
Mm-hmm.
And Ron keeps asking me, who do I think is going to win out of Asuka and Flair? And I've said it a couple of times on the show. I think Asuka beats Flair and then goes to SmackDown.
Well, she would have the SmackDown Women's title, and with that catapult Charlotte to back to Raw. I don't know, because I think I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. I'm not going to tiptoe around. I think Asuka continues the streak, but I think the streak is over at the next pay-per-view and Charlotte wins it back. That's just my prediction. I put it out there that Asuka wins her big match, the Empress versus the Queen. And, that was one of the things that happened on SmackDown this week that we didn't talk about, is that Asuka confronted Charlotte. And she looked at her and said, in all her, she just says, the Queen will bow to the Empress.
Right, yeah.
I think we're going to see that, but it's not going to be without an incredible match. Asuka's going to get the title, and that it's not going to be long, because Charlotte Flair, in my opinion, is the top game in the women's division at WWE.
Ronda Rousey, Kurt Angle versus Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. And I'm going to say that I think Ronda Rousey has to get a win in her first, pay-per-view, her first match, her first WrestleMania, all of it. I got to go with Ronda Rousey. I think that it will be her, like you said, pinning or submitting Stephanie.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that you're probably going to go the same route.
Yeah, I'm going to go there too. It just seems that would be the direction it has to go. Not because that may be the direction, kind of like my wife said, she'd like to see Steph and Triple H win, but I don't think it would be, what the authority called best for business.
Why did she want to see them win?
She dislikes Steph and Triple H, man. She's a huge fan. She loves it.
She likes that they're married in real life, and
that's how she sees us.
Yeah, yeah. You're the King of Kings.
Something like that.
Okay, John Cena versus The Undertaker. I'm not going to pick because I don't think it's going to happen. No. Well, I do think I'm kind of starting to get on the same thought as you, that it won't be a match, it'll be a brawl.
Yeah, something's going to happen. And this is what I will say, because we're talking about predictions here, okay? If The Undertaker and Cena happen, okay? Say it does happen, some weird way, they see each other at Starbucks and it happens, whatever, you know what I mean? Undertaker wins.
Okay, I'm with you. I want to kind of go against you and say Cena, but I think that this is the redemption match for the Taker, because a lot of people thought that his last match wasn't all that great.
No. Man, you could just tell he was a little beat up. Mm-hmm. That's what, for Taker fans, we've been watching this for so long, watching him through his career. I think that's what was hard is that, he looked a little beat up and where does he go from here? But if he does fight Cena, if he does show up and he does have the balls, so to speak, we said again, I think he gets the tombstone, Cena does, and he wins the match.
So this is a good one because we've talked about it, but I don't think we've talked about who we think will win. And really, I think this one could go either way. So obviously, I'm talking about the WWE Championship, AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I am going to just say, man, it's really tough because I could see them giving Shinsuke the strap and, kind of building him up some more. But I think it stays with AJ.
It's literally one of those matches where you just said it could go either way. Mm-hmm. And so just in the spirit of competitiveness, Brad, I'm going to go against you, man.
Okay.
And I'm going to take Shinsuke.
But this, like I say, that's not a bad pick.
No. No, you can't go wrong with either one of these guys. And you can't. And here's the other thing. You can't go wrong with either one of these guys having the title. Whoever has it, you're okay with because they're going to be able to carry the brand in that championship and, it's going to feel right, whoever has it. Now, I think, are we going to see the need of the face? I think we might.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what he keeps telling him. That's how he's going to win, need a face. Mm-hmm. I do want to go back before we get to the next one and say, because we missed a little bit of an opportunity here, what do you think Carmella's gonna her involvement with?
Good job, Brad.
Yeah, with Charlotte Flair because has it been 2 weeks in a row or 2 out of the last 3 weeks anyway? Yeah. She's tried to get in there and cash in her Money in the Bank and hasn't been able to do it, but also didn't lose her opportunity either. Which means I think something's gonna happen at WrestleMania. Do you think that she's gonna win it?
So
we've made our picks, but
but to throw that monkey wrench in there, just exactly what you said. Is, Charlotte is the queen, and then we have the Empress who's undefeated. Does she screw it all up? And that way, it's kind of like they both win, and Carmella screws, and then she would be the ultimate heel, which is exactly what she wants, by the way. She wants to be booed out of the building. That's what they desire, and they're getting that reaction from the crowd. Let's just say, don't be surprised if that happens, right?
Yeah. I don't know for sure that I want to change my pick from Asuka. But I think Carmella could play a part in this. I really do. I think that they're leading up to that. At least maybe not at WrestleMania, but maybe real soon. Mm-hmm. But I think at WrestleMania. So that brings us to the Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. We've talked about what we think could happen, some rumors that could happen. What do you feel in your heart? Who do you feel is going to win?
All rumors aside, okay? I think that I have said this on the podcast. I'm going to stick with what I said. This was the way that they got Roman over. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's happening. You're starting to hear the Let's Go Roman chants. I think that Brock's leaving for UFC. And even if he wasn't leaving for UFC, it's time to have that title back on Raw every single week and holding it high. And he is the big dog. It is his yard. It is Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. That's my pick.
I'm going to go with you. I think that there's really a good chance that Roman's going to win for a lot of different reasons. And I you said take rumors out of it, but I do think I feel like we're going to see Brock a lot less coming up for whatever reason that will be. And I think that they want the champion to be on Raw on a Monday night, on an every Monday night basis.
I'm ready to see it.
Me too. And so, I think that Brock Lesnar has a great place in the history of WWE.
He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done, he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
But I still feel like he's a little bit of above it all, and I don't like that.
Well, that's maybe how they want you to believe that he feels.
Sure.
And, when Roman and him go at it, and when Brock, and, that match that he had with Goldberg a while back, you think he didn't have to sell all that to Goldberg.
You're right.
But he did.
You're right. I mean, he didn't have to take the beating the other night.
But he did.
Really, honestly.
Yeah.
So you're right. He doesn't. It's not like he's not a company guy.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right about that. But at the same time, I would just like to see it be a night in, night out kind of thing.
And it's been so long since Roman's had the title, and he says that it is his yard. He is the big dog, and I believe him.
Yeah.
And I think that it's time for him to be the face of Raw for sure, because I think going ahead just a little bit, Dean Ambrose is coming back eventually from injury. Seth Rollins is there. Do we see the Shield reunite, or do we see the Shield fight for that title? I mean, that's something to be talked about.
I don't know. I think that getting the Shield back together at this point might be a little too much work. Not that it's too much work, but like they did, and then it petered out because
of injury.
Yeah. Roman got sick,
mm-hmm.
and then Dean got hurt,
yeah.
And so I just think let's not retread that.
But I think we'll see it again some point in time, just like we used to see DX come back together from time to time.
I'd be for that.
Yeah,
I just don't really want to revisit that right now. Okay, so that's our picks for WrestleMania, which is coming up this Sunday. But we did get a list submitted by one of our friends and a fan of the show, and he gave us his top 5 WrestleMania matches. He's one of your friends, I believe, Jordan.
Man, yeah, Jordan Knudsen, man. He's a great guy, and he's a huge, huge fan. And, man, he's been a big supporter of our podcast and helping us kind of get the word out. But he actually did this all on his own. So, yeah, Jordan comes out and he says, hey, Wrestling Podcast, favorite top 5 WrestleMania matches of all time. And his top 5 are Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Macho Man Randy Savage at WrestleMania 3, which is an incredible match. If you have not seen it, go on the WWE Network and check that out. You got Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho. Incredible match.
Yeah.
These guys go at it. Great storyline. The whole works. And then you got Shawn Michaels again versus The Undertaker. Now, I'm not sure which one he's talking about because they fought twice, but both storylines were great. And that's probably what he's talking about, saying, hey, I like them both. And then you get Bret the Hitman Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, really before he was Stone Cold, before that crazy attitude came out.
Right.
And this is the match that Stone Cold got bloodied up. And Bret the Hitman Hart has him in the sharpshooter. Stone Cold's bleeding profusely down his face. And this one of the most iconic images in WWE history is Stone Cold all bloodied up. And the last one is Stone Cold versus The Rock. They've had several matches, but man, every one they've had has been a barn burner.
Yeah,
it
definitely.
really has. So I had to come back at Jordan a little bit, okay?
Yeah, you gotta have a list.
Yeah, I had a list, and a lot of them, man. I think a lot of people have the same kind of matches in their top 5 because, man, they're the top 5 matches, right?
Yeah, some of them that I totally would have had in mind too.
Yeah, but number 1, I said Macho Man versus Steamboat was this groundbreaking match. It was different and it was incredible, and 2 Hall of Famers, and that was from WrestleMania 3. I had Taker versus Heartbreak Kid for the WrestleMania 25 match.
Mm-hmm.
That particular storyline and what they did told this incredible story, and it continued Undertaker's undefeated streak. But there is this real moment that you thought, it's over. Shawn Michaels is going to beat him. Number 3 was Stone Cold versus Bret the Hitman Hart at WrestleMania 13. Like I said, the iconic image. Can't get away from it. Here's where we differed a little bit. I had the Dudleys versus Edge and Christian versus the Hardys at WrestleMania 17 at that crazy ladder match. Oh, my gosh. How do you not have that in your top 5, Jordan? Where are you at, man?
I got to give it up because I would have had that in my top 5 for sure.
Yeah, and then the last one was Stone Cold versus The Rock at WrestleMania 17. At 17, that particular match was incredible. They blew the roof off the building. And, man, the way that The Rock sold those stunners, the way that, the whole storyline played out, I could watch it again. That's how great it was.
All right, so I did mine a little different because, like you said, we would have probably had some intersection there.
Yeah.
But I wanted to kind of do it differently because one of the things I love about WrestleMania is the guests, the celebrities and stuff. So I made a list of the top 5 celebrity appearances at WrestleMania.
Ooh, give them to me.
Okay, number 5, I've got Jenny McCarthy. She was the valet of Shawn Michaels versus Diesel at WrestleMania 11. And I had to put that on there because it gives me a chance to tell you that Jenny McCarthy called me on my cell phone once.
What?
Yeah.
Get out of here,
man.
Yeah. Don't be lying on the podcast.
No, it's true. Back in the day when I worked at a radio station here, I set up an interview with Jenny McCarthy. She had just wrote a book. The interview was with Phil and Drew. So I gave them our hotline number, and then I had to give them my cell phone number as a backup.
Sure.
So for some reason, she doesn't call the hotline. She calls my cell phone, and I answer it. She goes, "Hi, this is Jenny," and I'm like, "Shwing." So I mean, I don't know. I would dare say that's the most famous person who's ever called me on my cell phone.
Man.
So Jenny McCarthy, she gets in there just so I can tell that story. Number 4, I love this. Mike Tyson
Man.
at WrestleMania, I believe that was 14, where he knocks out Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, great story. And that's where Stone Cold won his first title. He grabbed the belt from Shawn. Shawn was taking some time after that, but the whole storyline leading up to that was incredible. Mike Tyson was going to be the enforcer in that, and he says, he starts off 3 or 4 weeks prior to that, I'm with DX, but what happens? He ends up he gets Stone Cold over through that.
Now, this was recent, but number 3, Shaquille O'Neal.
Showed up against and face-to-face with the Big Show, right?
Well, he was in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Yeah, he went down, but the guy that he showed up against and who went face-to-face was the Big Show.
Yeah.
Those two behemoths.
Yeah, so Shaquille O'Neal, I would love to see him do another one. That would be awesome.
Last year they were supposed to have a match. Nobody knows exactly what happened, but it was set up. They announced it, Shaquille O'Neal versus Big Show. They had kind of announced it, and Show was kind of saying some trash on social media, and Shaq's kind of clapping back. So you thought it was going to really happen, and then just a couple or 3 weeks before WrestleMania, it fluttered out, and that was a huge disappointment.
Yeah. Let's see. Number 2, we've mentioned this one before, but I actually had to bring it up too. I have to give some credit to a fan of our show, Nick Butterfield.
Yeah.
He pointed out that we had said the wrong WrestleMania, but Muhammad Ali, he was at WrestleMania 1 as the guest ref. I think we'd said like 2 or 3 sometime.
Sure.
But
yeah.
No big deal. But yeah, Muhammad Ali, I mean, that's huge. That's big time.
I mean, he's the greatest. He's the champ, right?
Yeah. And so there's only one other person who could be number 1 over Muhammad Ali. Would you care to take a guess?
You know what, man? I'm going to let you have this.
I mean, I pity the fool that doesn't know. Mr. T.
Mr. T.
The tag team match with Hulk Hogan versus Roddy Piper and Mr. Wonderful.
Man.
And I've got the Hot Rod shirt on right now.
Yeah, you do.
But Mr. T, I mean, come on. When we were little, he was the dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gold chains, mohawk.
Yeah. Did you ever know where he got his gold chains?
No.
He used to be a bouncer at a club, and I guess they were all the leftover gold chains. Like people would lose them or whatever, and so they went into the Mr. T collection.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so Mr. T is my number 1.
There you go. We'll take it.
Yeah. Man, I think that's it.
That's it for, that's it for this podcast, but this is WrestleMania weekend. We got the Hall of Fame. We got NXT TakeOver. We got WrestleMania itself. Who's going to come up from NXT? Who are some of the – we didn't even get a chance to get into that.
Yeah.
Who are some of the guys that are going to come up from NXT? Who's going to do that?
Yeah, we got it. Well, I think next show after WrestleMania, we should probably devote a little more time to the NXT and kind of see, who's the top rising stars. And, of course, we'll have a little bit better idea of what you're talking about after WrestleMania. So.
Yeah, because they're going to be on Raw, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. And you know what? We'll probably get on Facebook or something while we're, maybe do a Facebook Live or something while we're watching or in between matches.
And connect with us, man.
Yeah.
We want to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. We've had a good response to our Facebook page. We had some great downloads this week that we were able to look at on SoundCloud, iTunes. That's where we're at. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on SoundCloud. You can find us on iTunes. Be sure to like us, share us, all those lovely things, because sharing is caring, right?
Yeah. You mentioned the YouTube page, which we just got up over the weekend.
YouTube, yep.
And I want to give out our Twitter handle because I went ahead and set up Twitter for us over the weekend as well. So it's at @OOHH OKC.
Find us there on Twitter.
Yeah, and hit us up and let us know. Anything that like Nick, he let us know we had mentioned the wrong WrestleMania.
Thanks,
we
Nick.
love that.
Man, give us a feedback. We're okay.
Yeah.
You can tell us we suck. We don't care.
Yeah.
We're going to thank you for the feedback because you know what? This is the greatest podcast of all time.
Yeah, we're fans. We're fans and you're fans, so let's be fans together. All right, that brings us to an end. Will, you have a great rest of your week.
You too. Let me say this one last thing.
Yeah.
There's some new artwork coming for our podcast, man.
That's right.
That's going to close us out. Be ready for the new artwork coming out. Be ready for WrestleMania, NXT TakeOver. Give us your feedback. Like our Facebook. Find us on iTunes, man. We love you guys. We appreciate everything.
Have a great week.